They're going to be aimed at access, or they're going to be aimed at excellence. Like if you think of the hospital you go to, the hospitals that others, the doctors they go to, you're either someone who's saying like, I take all comers, I'm going to always be there. Or you have someone who says, well, only the elite get in here, and we're going to show that we do the best at the top, and we're going to advertise, the celebrity, the pro athletes that we take care of. And so health systems, doctors, departments, they're all aimed at that. And I firmly believe that the future of medicine is to not see those as competing interests. I think everything is, you can provide access and excellence, and you can actually make one kind of play into the other and support the other.
How so?
A lot of medicine historically is a lot of science. When you look at what's studied, super interesting. Like you look at a study that dictates, a new medication comes out, right? They ran a clinical trial, and historically they would run that clinical trial, and they would run it usually only through what's called an excellence hospital, right? A high-end hospital that caters generally to affluent white men, right? And they ran a clinical trial that showed that a drug worked for affluent white men, right? And they didn't run a clinical trial that was gender equal, that was diverse, that showed, and we know that genetically some of these medications work better in some than others. You need to have access points for all type of people, old, young, every different kind of look, nationality, gender, everything. To say that your care works, it needs to transcend the differences in people. It's just a fundamental principle of care. And so one of the things I love about what we do is, I took care of, about 2 years ago on the same day, into my clinic, a kid whose father was one of the royals in the Middle East, flew their kid out with a cancer on a private plane, came out and saw me. And then in the next room, I took care of a kid who's the exact same age, who's a kid from South Central LA, with no resources, same diagnosis, same thing. They get the same chemo, the same surgery, right? And if you can do that, if you can really provide that type of thing, then you start to see if what you're doing really is, if what you're doing is really right.
The champ is here. Tommy just walked in. Are you coming on, Tom?
No.
What do you mean no? Don't be a Why?
I fucking invited him for the third time.
Dude, Tom, you said that you were gonna be with your wife, bro. You said when I talked to you 2 days ago.
Come say hi.
Shut up. You say hi to Nick, dude.
Good to see you.
What's up, buddy?
Hi, guys.
Tom, come sit in here. Why? Well, you didn't get your nails done or some shit? Huh? Right now?
What's up, Dad? Good to see you. What are y'all talking about?
Well, right now we're talking about healthcare, and we're talking about we're talking about.
Basically things Nick understands and you don't.
No, dude, I'm doing. Shut up, man. That was my disappointment with the last time I had Nick. I made fun of him too much. I didn't actually but it's
Fun of him.
no. I know you're making fun of me. I know. Tom, you really don't want to come in on this.
I gotta go figure out.
When are you leaving?
I'm leaving here in 2 minutes. I came in to say hi, give you a hug, say what up, see these guys.
Tom, if you have anything, but just hang out, Tom. I think the thing that you said before about people like losing faith in institutions, it's very clear that like right now, probably more that, whether it's politics, whether it's people, believing in our country, whatever it is. I mean, there's no question right now. There's like, there's such like a lack of faith in healthcare. And it's one of the things that like sort of like in the zeitgeist, people are kind of like preaching. And I think probably like a lot of that came from COVID, and a lot of that came from sort of like everybody kind of like all of a sudden having healthcare be kind of like something that everybody was talking about. There's no such thing as like an atheist in a foxhole, right? It's like when people are dealing with cancer, they're not like, well, I heard on Rogan that like you do this or that. They're not like,
Yes and no.
Is that true?
You'd be surprised.
Really?
You'd be surprised. People's convictions are pretty firmly held right now. We are at the early stage still of this kind of information overload, and no one has figured out exactly how to train people to process what comes in and how to develop thoughtful kind of internal algorithms for sorting out what is real and what's not. And I think as we go through, it's just an interesting idea. I also teach, right? Like I got a teach at the medical school, and I teach residents and teach students and fellows.
And you're actually in labs, actually figuring out what the
Figuring out
scientific
what the-
method, right?
Right. And you know, I think it's one of these things where, you know, historically our entire how we teach people was all about retention. How did you get tested your whole life? It's like
what can
someone
you
tells you
memorize?
something, and then it's how much of that did you retain and can
regurgitate.
can hand back to somebody. And now all of education has to shift to developing a way in which retention becomes far less valuable, but sort of analysis, prioritization, some sort of kind of methodology for taking what is, you know, infinite data that's available to you and sorting out what should come to the top. And unfortunately, right now it's about what